When machine meets life, the revolution of medical technology. Today, we live in the golden age of medical technology. AI could be used to detect cancer. Robotic surgeons can be used to perform minimally invasive surgeries. And 3D printed prosthetics could be produced efficiently and at a lower cost. Yet still, millions of people live under the shadow of these miracles, unable to access the most basic of healthcare. According to the World Health Organization, nearly half the world's population, 3.5 billion people, still lack access to essential medical services. Within a rural village of Guizhou, an elderly woman went to tend to the fields as usual, to suddenly fall over and pass out. When the villagers finally rushed her to the village clinic, the doctor told them that she needs an MRI scan. Yet, all the clinic has is a stethoscope and a blood pressure tester. She had to be rushed to the county hospital 3 hours away. When she finally arrived, all that the doctors could do is to shake their heads. The distance between the village and the hospital, the discrepancy in medical resource distribution, spelled the difference between life and death. Yet this story repeats itself every single day. Medical technology cannot save lives it cannot reach. Today, the most advanced of hospitals are concentrated in large developed cities such as Shanghai, Beijing, and Hangzhou, where the annual healthcare spending per capita exceeds $5,000. In contrast, rural and developing areas only spend less than $100 annually. In rural provinces, just one CT or MRI scanner needs to span over hundreds of thousands of patients. China's National Healthcare Commission states that while developed areas share one CT scanner per 70,000 residents, rural areas have a number averaging 1 per 500,000 and more. Yet, why is it this way? Why could we send people on rockets up to Mars, yet we could not bring an MRI machine to the village? The answer lies in the nature of medical technology itself. Traditional MRI devices cost millions of dollars, require stable electricity, and needs to be confined in a radiation-shielded room. Its superconducting magnets require liquid nitrogen, a single-use resource, just to function. This makes it immobile, fragile, and highly dependent on a controlled environment. Not only that, but to operate it, you also need personnel. Maintenance engineers, specialized operators, and doctors who could interpret the results. This type of resource is usually concentrated in urban hospitals, serving a population that could already afford to be there. This exposes a deeper, more systemic issue. Medical technology focuses on what sells good, but not what is good. Companies chase after a high price tag, prioritizing devices that could be sold at a higher price, such as expensive MRI scanners for the richest of hospitals. As a result, the rural poor, the elderlies living alone in a village, the children far away from hospitals, are shunned away, not because this type of technology could not help them, but because this system is not built around the reality. This is not just any issue. This is an ethical issue. When medical breakthroughs prioritize those already privileged, it only amplifies inequality instead of reducing it. Medical technology could not serve its purpose when it sits only in a few hospitals. Instead, it serves its purpose when it extends to every community, no matter the distance. Yet, when all hope seems to be lost, someone refused to accept the boundaries and stood up. Meet Yue Qiqiu, a young scientist from Shanghai Jiao Tong University who won the Prince Many Translational Science Award for developing a portable MRI. When she first laid her eyes on this huge, complex device, she thought to herself, why? Why can't an MRI machine be as easily accessible as a phone? When she proposed this thought, she was met with laughter and doubt. What you're making is just a mere toy. The magnetic field is just too weak. The hardware would fail. The image would be completely distorted. Yet, she refused to give up. After countless hours and sleepless nights of designing, building, testing, and repeat, she made it. It does not rely on specialized wiring. It does not need liquid nitrogen. It does not need to be confined in a radiation-shielded room. When hardware proves to be unreliable, algorithm comes in to make up and even transcend hardware boundaries. Specifically, it is the algorithm known as SPEN, or spatial-temporal encoding. To understand the significance of this algorithm, you must see it in the scope of traditional MRI algorithms, the EPI. EPI is like a blindfolded runner running down an uneven field of weak magnetic force, where the electrons will simply not be able to catch the signal and produce a scan that is either elongated or compressed. The imaging so distorted that a doctor doesn't even dare to lay their eyes on. Yet, with SPEM, everything changes. It's like taking the blindfold off and giving the electron a GPS. The signal, no matter how weak the magnetic field or how uneven the track is, could still find its way. When Yue Qiqiu first tested out her MRI, there was an uproar in the lab, with only 110 milliteslas of magnetic force, which is a fraction of the 1.5 to 3 teslas needed for traditional MRI machines. She is able to produce an imaging with little to no distortions. Her machine is as light as a suitcase and could be wheeled down the hospital corridors and onto a van. For once, something extraordinary happened. An MRI machine could come for you. In the neonatal departments, many infants the size of your palm lie in incubators. They need to risk their lives just be wheeled over to perform a brain scan. Yet now, with Yue Qi's portable MRI, this is not the case. With that, they could just wheel the MRI over, and while the child slept, undisturbed, they could perform a scan in mere minutes. In a rural village, when an elderly suddenly collapsed mid-conversation, the doctor does not need to frantically call the hospital or wait for an ambulance that may never come. Instead, they wheel in Yue Qi's portable MRI, perform the scan immediately, and diagnose the stroke in minutes. In the golden 4.5 hours of treatment, where medication is the most effective, it could spell the difference between walking and never standing, between life and death. This is not innovation. This is salvation. Yue Qiqiu did not just break the boundaries of physics. She broke the boundaries of medical privilege. As her mentor, Zhi Yongzhang, once said, research is not for publishing papers. It is for solving real problems. Real problems are the faces of the rural villagers Real problems are the hands tremoring as they wait in the hospital corridor. Real problems is the heartbeat of a child who deserves to live. Our world does not lack brilliance. It lacks direction. Too often, medical research chases after patents, prestige, headlines. Yet, true progress is not measured in terabytes or Teslas. It is measured in access and empathy. Ritchie Cho's work tells us is that medical technology should not be an ivory tower inaccessible for the majority of the population. That true progress does not mean making the best devices for the richest of hospitals. Instead, it means for knowledge to flow as compassion, so that every city, every village, every family can enjoy the gift of medicine. The quiet miracle is the life of a child who deserves to live, is the elderly woman who does not need to leave the village to be taken care of. It is when medical technology stops being urban and becomes universal. This is what makes technology beautiful. Medical technology should not separate between who has it and who does not. Instead, it should bridge the gaps and reach the remotest of mountains and the smallest of villages. This is not just technological victory. This is humanity's triumph. So, when we think of innovation, let's remember Ritchie Cho's portable MRI. Let's remember that progress should not be measured in power. Instead, it should be measured in reach. Let us ask ourselves, are we making technology that could truly change lives? Because, after all, the best machinery doesn't mean progress. What means progress is the hope that is brought to all communities. Thank you.